Hello, friends. If you're curious about the movie Damsel and its exciting release on October 13th, 2024, you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to give this video a quick like. It really helps us out. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to stay updated on all the latest movie deep dives. Let's jump right in. From the mind of director Juan Fresnadillo comes Damsel, a dazzling fantasy adventure that shatters conventions and keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Starring the immensely talented Millie Bobby Brown as Elodie, the film blends medieval aesthetics with themes of survival, empowerment, and rebellion. Its story is deceptively simple at first glance, but unfolds into an enthralling narrative packed with twists and profound emotional resonance. Set in a stunning yet dangerous medieval realm, Damsel begins with Elodie, a humble yet optimistic young woman who finds herself betrothed to Prince Henry, played by Nick Robinson. The royal wedding promises to elevate her life to unimaginable heights, offering a future filled with promise, luxury, and love, or so it seems. The film wastes no time immersing the audience in its lushly imagined world, with grand castles, vibrant market streets, and sweeping landscapes that evoke both wonder and foreboding. Elodie's journey to the royal castle is filled with wide-eyed hope and a touch of nervous excitement. Her wedding preparations are depicted in painstaking detail, underscoring the weight of her impending union. However, moments of unease punctuate the festivities, a cryptic warning from a servant, the sidelong glances of the court, and an air of something unsaid. The subtle dread bubbling beneath the surface hints that not all is as it seems, and Elodie's fate may not be the fairy tale she envisions. The story takes a dark and thrilling turn when Elodie discovers the shocking truth. Her marriage is a facade. Instead of a life of royal bliss, she is to be sacrificed to a terrifying dragon as part of a centuries-old pact, ensuring the kingdom's safety. The betrayal hits like a thunderbolt, shattering her illusions and thrusting her into a life-or-death battle against forces far more sinister than she ever imagined. The film's gripping plot unfolds with a perfect balance of heart-pounding action and emotional depth. As Elodie struggles to escape her dire predicament, the narrative introduces a rich tapestry of characters, each with their own motivations and secrets. A rogue mercenary offers his aid, but hides a mysterious agenda. A wise old hermit shares cryptic advice and knowledge about the dragon. Each interaction pushes Elodie closer to the realization that survival requires not only courage, but also a willingness to outwit her enemies. Elodie's transformation from a naive bride-to-be to a fierce, resourceful warrior is portrayed with extraordinary nuance by Millie Bobby Brown. Her character's determination and ingenuity captivate the audience, making every victory feel earned and every setback deeply personal. The dragon, rendered with breathtaking visual effects, is more than just a menacing beast. It becomes a symbol of the oppressive traditions Elodie must overcome. The climactic confrontation between the two is a masterclass in tension and spectacle, blending raw emotion with edge-of-your-seat thrills. Throughout Damsel, key twists and revelations keep viewers guessing. A betrayal from an unexpected ally throws Elodie's plans into disarray, while the true nature of the dragon, and its connection to the kingdom's dark history, adds layers of complexity to the narrative. The story culminates in a finale that is as triumphant as it is thought-provoking, leaving audiences with a sense of closure and a lingering curiosity about the world they've just explored. With its compelling characters, stunning visuals, and a story that defies expectations, Damsel is a cinematic experience that lingers long after the credits roll. If you're as fascinated by this journey as we are, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more in-depth movie breakdowns and discussions. What do you think about Elodie's epic battle against the odds? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your take on this bold reimagining of the fantasy genre. The story of Damsel begins in an idyllic medieval kingdom where Elodie, a young and ambitious woman from humble beginnings, is thrust into what appears to be a fairy tale. Chosen to marry Prince Henry, the kingdom's charming ruler, her journey to the royal palace is accompanied by a mixture of awe and trepidation. The castle itself, with its towering spires and intricate design, is a marvel that dazzles her senses, yet beneath its beauty lies a subtle undercurrent of unease. Elodie is welcomed with fanfare, greeted by the nobility with rehearsed smiles and polite applause. As she navigates her new life, she notices peculiarities. Court members seem to speak in cryptic terms, their glances lingering a moment too long. The prince, though gallant, often appears distant, as if burdened by a secret he cannot share. Elodie, initially overwhelmed by the opulence around her, starts to sense that the grandeur masks something far darker. Preparations for the grand royal wedding are underway, an event heralded as a historic union meant to strengthen the kingdom. However, during the festivities, Elodie begins to experience disquieting encounters. A kind but cautious servant pulls her aside, whispering veiled warnings about the castle's deeper truths. This only fuels Elodie's growing suspicion, leading her to explore forbidden areas of the castle at night. Her clandestine searches uncover odd details, ancient symbols etched into walls, mysterious scrolls detailing a pact involving the royal family, and references to a powerful dragon that protects the kingdom. But before she can delve further into these discoveries, the day of the wedding arrives. Elodie walks down the aisle, believing she is about to fulfill her destiny as a princess. However, in a devastating twist, it is revealed during the ceremony that she is not to be Henry's bride, but a sacrificial offering to the kingdom's dragon. This moment of betrayal strikes like lightning, shattering her hopes and plunging her into a nightmare. Shocked and defiant, Elodie refuses to accept her fate passively. Dragged to the dragon's lair by guards, Elodie's resilience shines through. With sharp intellect and sheer willpower, she manages to outsmart her captors, narrowly escaping into the wilderness. The perilous escape marks the beginning of her transformation from a sheltered, naive young woman into a resourceful and determined survivor. Each step into the untamed forest solidifies her resolve to uncover the truth and fight back against the forces that betrayed her. As Elodie ventures further, she encounters both allies and enemies. A rugged mercenary with questionable morals crosses her path, offering aid but at a price. Their uneasy alliance is fraught with tension, their goals seemingly aligned but motives vastly different. Along the way, Elodie unravels the kingdom's sinister history, learning about the pact that binds the dragon to the royal family and the cycle of sacrifices that ensures the kingdom's prosperity. Through this journey, Elodie begins to embrace her inner strength, shedding her role as a pawn in the kingdom's schemes. Her resourcefulness is tested in relentless battles against nature, the dragon's looming threat, and the guards sent to retrieve her. The tension builds steadily as Elodie pieces together the true story behind the pact and its devastating consequences for the kingdom's people. Each revelation fuels Elodie's determination to break free from the legacy of oppression and deceit. She learns that the dragon is not merely a beast, but a manifestation of the greed and corruption at the kingdom's heart. Armed with this knowledge, Elodie prepares for a climactic confrontation that promises not only to test her courage, but to redefine her destiny entirely. The stage is set for a breathtaking resolution, leaving audiences eagerly anticipating the final twists in her incredible journey. As Elodie ventures deeper into the wilderness, the journey becomes a battle of survival and self-discovery. The once idyllic girl, groomed for royal life, now must navigate treacherous terrain filled with lurking dangers. Each step is a reminder of betrayal, fueling her determination to defy her fate. Her cunning and resourcefulness shine as she adapts to her new reality, crafting tools and navigating the labyrinthine forest with growing skill. The landscape itself seems alive, a mixture of menace and strange beauty, mirroring Elodie's internal struggle. Amid her isolation, Elodie encounters the rebels, a group of outcasts who oppose the monarchy and its cruel traditions. Skeptical at first, she learns of their shared hatred for the Dragon Pact. These rebels provide Elodie with critical knowledge, ancient texts, hidden truths, and legends of a time before the kingdom's dark pact with the dragon. Through their guidance, Elodie pieces together the puzzle of her ancestors' betrayal, realizing that her supposed sacrifice was a political act disguised as duty. The rebels reveal the dragon's plight. Far from a mere monster, it is bound by sorcery, trapped in a cycle of destruction against its will. Elodie begins to question her purpose, not to slay or fear the dragon, but to free it. This revelation reshapes her mission. She no longer seeks revenge against her kingdom alone. She yearns to destroy the very system that perpetuates these horrors. The plan to infiltrate the dragon's lair is fraught with peril. The rebels prepare Elodie for the ultimate confrontation, but their faith in her abilities is mixed with doubts. Meanwhile, Elodie wrestles with her fears, knowing her life might end in the lair. These moments are a delicate dance of vulnerability and courage, her growth palpable as she accepts her destiny, not as a damsel to be saved, but as the architect of her fate. The lair, a towering cathedral of volcanic rock and shimmering fire, is unlike anything Elodie has ever seen. Her approach is stealthy, her steps calculated, her breath steady despite the growing terror in her chest. The prince appears, seeking to stop her. Their reunion is raw and volatile, each word laced with anger and heartbreak. He defends his actions as duty-bound, but Elodie exposes his cowardice, forcing him to confront the weight of his choices. Their confrontation leaves him shaken, though he ultimately lets her pass, a subtle act of rebellion against his family's cruelty. Inside the lair, the dragon awaits, a magnificent and terrifying beast, its scales glinting in the firelight. Elodie stands before it, her fear replaced by resolve. Armed with the knowledge of its chains, she speaks not as a warrior, but as an equal, calling out to the creature's humanity. The dragon's response is unexpected. It recognizes her courage and shares its pain through haunting visions of its enslavement. As Elodie begins the intricate ritual to free the dragon, the lair trembles with magical energy. The scene is tense, each word of the incantation a battle against time. The forces of the monarchy arrive, determined to stop her. A fierce battle ensues, with rebels and royal guards clashing amidst the chaos. Elodie's focus remains unshaken, her voice unwavering as she completes the ritual. In a blinding flash of light, the chains shatter. The dragon's roar echoes through the mountains, a sound of liberation. Freed from its curse, the dragon turns its fury on the guards, sparing only those who surrender. The once mighty symbol of oppression becomes a force for justice, leveling the kingdom's corrupt strongholds in a fiery reckoning. Elodie emerges from the lair, not as a victorious warrior, but as a symbol of hope and defiance. Her journey has reshaped her identity, transforming her from a naive bride-to-be into a fearless leader. The kingdom's people, inspired by her actions, rise against the monarchy, demanding an end to the old ways. The film concludes with a mix of triumph and uncertainty. Elodie stands amidst the ruins, the dragon soaring above her, a reminder of the cost of freedom. The story leaves audiences with a lingering question. What comes next? Can the kingdom rebuild on the foundation of truth, or will new challenges arise? Elodie's journey, though complete, feels like the beginning of a new chapter, inviting viewers to ponder the possibilities. The characters in Damsel bring the film's fantastical world to life, weaving their individual arcs into the larger narrative fabric. Let's begin with Elodie, the titular damsel whose evolution forms the story's backbone. Initially introduced as a spirited and dutiful young woman, Elodie embraces her role as a princess-to-be with optimism and resolve. Her character resonates with courage and inner strength, traits that become critical as the story unfolds. When Elodie is thrust into unimaginable danger, her resilience shines. No longer bound by societal expectations, she embarks on a journey that not only transforms her circumstances, but also redefines her own sense of identity. Elodie's arc is a masterclass in character development. Her triumphs, struggles, and self-discovery make her a protagonist who is both relatable and inspirational. King Henrik, Elodie's father, is portrayed as a monarch torn between his duties and his love for his daughter. While his initial decisions are driven by political pragmatism, his regret and guilt manifest as the plot thickens. Henrik's character serves as a compelling study of flawed humanity. His well-meaning yet misguided choices set the stage for much of the film's conflict, making his ultimate redemption all the more poignant. Prince Henry, Elodie's betrothed, starts as a seemingly charming yet enigmatic figure. His motivations, layered with mystery, are gradually revealed, adding complexity to his character. Henry's actions often blur the lines between duty and personal ambition, challenging viewers to question his true intentions. As events unravel, his character grows, shedding light on the burdens of his lineage and the moral dilemmas he faces. Henry's journey is as much about self-discovery as it is about loyalty and sacrifice. The dragon serves not merely as an antagonist, but as a multidimensional entity embodying themes of fear, power, and freedom. Unlike traditional dragons in fairy tales, this creature is not inherently evil. Instead, it reflects the conflicts and desires of those around it. Through its interactions with Elodie, the dragon becomes a mirror for her inner struggles, amplifying the film's underlying themes of empowerment and breaking free from constraints. Supporting characters like Queen Margarethe and the sorceress Helena add depth and intrigue to the narrative. Margarethe, Elodie's mother, is a pillar of strength and wisdom, whose subtle guidance influences Elodie's decisions. Her presence, though less frequent, resonates with the warmth of maternal love. Meanwhile, Helena's enigmatic persona drives much of the film's tension. Her motives remain ambiguous until the climactic revelations, positioning her as both a mentor and a potential threat. The film's ensemble cast also includes a rich tapestry of minor characters, from loyal knights and scheming courtiers to villagers whose lives are touched by Elodie's journey. Each character, no matter how small their role, contributes to the film's intricate world-building. The courtiers, for instance, embody the political machinations of the royal court, while the villagers provide a grounded perspective that contrasts with the palace's grandeur. In many ways, Damsel succeeds because its characters are not confined to archetypal roles. Each individual, whether hero, villain, or bystander, feels authentic, with motivations and flaws that resonate on a deeply human level. This authenticity is bolstered by the actors' performances, which bring nuance and emotional depth to their portrayals. While creating Damsel 2024, the filmmakers faced many unique challenges and surprising discoveries that contributed to the film's distinctive look and feel. From fascinating behind-the-scenes stories to unusual occurrences during production, these facts reveal just how much effort and creativity went into bringing the world of Damsel to life. One of the most intriguing aspects of the production was the intricate design of the sets. The film, set in a fantastical world that blends medieval elements with a touch of magic, required the team to design and build elaborate castles, villages, and forests. The castle, in particular, posed a challenge for the production designers. They had to create an authentic, yet grandiose medieval environment that was simultaneously functional for the action scenes. The design team went through numerous iterations, experimenting with materials that would reflect the story's tone while maintaining realism. The forest scenes were also a logistical nightmare. To achieve the ethereal quality of the enchanted woods, the filmmakers decided to shoot in a remote location known for its breathtaking natural beauty. However, the location was incredibly challenging to access. Crew members had to trek through difficult terrain to set up equipment, and the weather didn't always cooperate, adding an extra layer of tension to the shoot. Despite these challenges, the team was able to capture the stunning shots that would later become one of the film's most iconic sequences. An interesting behind-the-scenes story involves the creature effects used to bring the dragon to life. Unlike many films that rely heavily on CGI, the filmmakers decided to use a combination of practical effects and digital enhancement to create the dragon. A massive animatronic head was built, which was operated by a team of puppeteers. The puppets' movements were painstakingly timed to match the actors' interactions, creating a sense of physicality that helped make the dragon feel real. However, the crew faced multiple setbacks during the dragon's scenes. The puppet was so large and heavy that it caused difficulties in filming, especially during the more intense action sequences. The team had to find creative ways to shoot these scenes without compromising the dragon's realism. The dragon's design was also a point of much discussion among the production team. Initially, the filmmakers experimented with different dragon designs, ranging from traditional, fire-breathing beasts to more abstract, ethereal creatures. The final design, which combined elements of both classic and original depictions of dragons, was meant to symbolize the character of Elodie herself. The filmmakers saw the dragon as a representation of the journey she would undergo in the film, initially seen as a terrifying force, but ultimately an ally in her personal transformation. Another fascinating element of the film's production was the costume design. Elodie's transformation from a princess in peril to a warrior was conveyed through her evolving wardrobe. Early in the film, she is dressed in elaborate, traditional royal garments, which visually highlight her status as a damsel in distress. As she takes control of her own fate, her costumes become more practical, symbolizing her growth as a character. The final battle sequences see her donning a suit of armor that represents her readiness to face any challenge head-on. The costume team also had to create costumes for the supporting characters, each of whom represented different factions of the kingdom. The royal court wore rich, jewel-toned outfits with intricate embroidery, while the villagers were dressed in more modest, earth-toned clothes, reflecting their station in life. The contrast in these costumes helped to establish the social hierarchies within the kingdom, as well as the characters' individual journeys throughout the story. Filming in remote and challenging locations wasn't the only obstacle faced by the crew. Several strange occurrences also added an air of unpredictability to the process. On one occasion, the team was shooting a pivotal scene in the forest, where Elodie and her companions are ambushed by a group of bandits. Just as the cameras began rolling, a herd of wild boars appeared in the background, charging toward the set. The crew had to halt the shoot and wait for the animals to pass, delaying production for hours. Though this was an unexpected challenge, it also provided the team with an opportunity to incorporate the animals into the scene, adding an organic and chaotic element to the film. Another amusing incident occurred during the filming of the climactic battle scene. A major action sequence was set to take place in a vast open field, with Elodie facing off against her adversaries. However, as the crew set up the cameras, an unanticipated thunderstorm rolled in, causing delays and forcing the team to rethink their approach. Rather than abandon the shoot, the filmmakers decided to incorporate the rain and storm into the scene, using it to heighten the tension and drama of the battle. The end result was a visually stunning sequence that perfectly captured the intensity of the final showdown. One of the most surprising facts about the production was the amount of work that went into the film's music. The composer, known for his work on other epic fantasy films, was tasked with creating a score that could convey the emotional depth of the story while complementing the grandeur of the visual spectacle. To achieve this, the composer used a combination of orchestral instruments, traditional folk music, and electronic elements to create a dynamic and layered score. The music plays a crucial role in the film's emotional resonance, helping to elevate key moments and underscore the stakes of the story. In fact, some of the most memorable sequences of the film are enhanced by the music, including the final confrontation with the dragon. The swelling orchestral strings build to a crescendo as Elodie faces her greatest challenge, while the delicate woodwinds play a haunting melody during the more reflective moments. The contrast in the music mirrors the internal conflict Elodie faces as she transitions from a passive character to a fully realized hero. While the film is filled with stunning visuals and action-packed sequences, it's the smaller details that make it truly special. One such detail involves the subtle references to classic fairy tales. The film is a modern take on the traditional princess narrative, and many elements of the story mirror familiar tropes. However, the filmmakers subvert these expectations, often playing with the audience's assumptions. For example, early in the film, Elodie's betrothal to Prince Henry seems like a typical fairy tale romance. But as the story progresses, it becomes clear that their relationship is more complicated and less idealized than initially portrayed. The film also draws inspiration from the idea of transformation, a theme that is central to both Elodie's character arc and the world of Damsel. Her journey from a helpless princess to a fierce warrior mirrors the transformation of the world around her. In a place where magic, danger, and destiny collide, Elodie's growth is symbolic of the larger narrative of breaking free from societal constraints and embracing one's true potential. These thematic elements are subtly reflected in the production design, costumes, and even the film's lighting, which shifts from soft and warm tones in the beginning to darker, more intense hues as the story reaches its climax. Damsel also contains several references to legendary myths and stories from various cultures, including dragons, magic, and the concept of a hero's journey. These mythological elements are integrated into the story in ways that feel fresh and innovative, allowing the filmmakers to honor traditional fantasy while creating something entirely new. Fans of mythology and fantasy will appreciate the depth and nuance with which these elements are woven into the film's world. Another fun fact is the involvement of the film's director, who is known for his work in both fantasy and drama genres. He brought his distinctive vision to the project, blending action, adventure, and emotional depth in a way that feels both epic and intimate. His ability to balance these different elements was instrumental in creating a story that resonates with a wide audience. The film's marketing campaign also provided some interesting tidbits. To promote Damsel, the filmmakers staged an elaborate viral marketing stunt, creating an online presence for the fictional kingdom where the story is set. This included social media accounts for the royal family, complete with posts about Elodie's engagement to Prince Henry and glimpses of the upcoming royal wedding. This clever campaign helped to immerse potential viewers in the world of the film long before it was released, building anticipation for the movie's debut. Finally, Damsel was a testament to the creativity and hard work of the entire cast and crew. Every detail, from the smallest props to the grandest set pieces, was meticulously designed and crafted to serve the story. The film's attention to detail and its seamless blend of fantasy and reality make it a standout in the genre, proving that a compelling story is always backed by a dedicated team of filmmakers who pour their heart and soul into every frame. From the creative challenges of building a fantastical world to the unexpected surprises that occurred during production, Damsel is a film that showcases the magic of filmmaking. The behind-the-scenes stories and little-known facts add layers of richness to the final product, making it even more enjoyable for fans who appreciate the artistry behind the scenes. In Damsel 2024, the filmmakers present a fresh take on classic themes of heroism, personal transformation, and the power of agency. This film doesn't just ask the audience to follow the journey of a princess in peril, but challenges the very notion of what a damsel in distress truly is. Its story weaves together traditional elements of fantasy and adventure with a contemporary message about self-discovery and resilience. One of the most critical moments in the film is when Elodie, initially seen as a passive character, begins to take control of her own fate. This turning point is both a character evolution and a commentary on the societal expectations placed on women throughout history. When Elodie's world is turned upside down and she's forced to confront a dragon, she not only faces physical danger, but also challenges the psychological traps of dependency and fear. This pivotal scene encapsulates the movie's central conflict and serves as a foundation for the events that follow. The significance of this event cannot be overstated. It is more than just a moment of physical confrontation. Elodie's battle with the dragon symbolizes her internal battle against the expectations of being a helpless princess. For much of the story, she's been defined by those around her, her family, her kingdom, and even the audience's preconceived notions of what a damsel should be. But as she steps into the fire literally, Elodie begins to craft her own destiny. It's a statement about breaking free from societal constraints and realizing one's potential, a theme that resonates strongly with modern audiences. Critically speaking, this moment of transformation is where the film truly distinguishes itself from other fairy tales. While many classic tales focus on a heroine who waits to be rescued, Damsel flips this narrative on its head. The story allows Elodie to be the agent of her own salvation, a key message for today's audiences who are increasingly seeking stories that empower rather than diminish. This subversion of the traditional damsel trope is both timely and impactful, making the movie's critique of outdated gender roles feel sharp and relevant. The emotional resonance of this turning point is heightened by the relationships that Elodie forms throughout her journey. Her interactions with the supporting characters, especially with the other women she meets in the film, are key to understanding the broader themes of solidarity and strength. These relationships are built on mutual respect and the shared understanding that survival is not just about brute force, but about emotional resilience and strategic thinking. The scenes between Elodie and these characters deepen the emotional stakes and emphasize that it's not just the physical battles that matter, but the emotional and mental growth that comes with overcoming adversity. Another significant event that deserves a deeper look is Elodie's encounter with the mysterious and seemingly malevolent figures she faces early in the film. These characters represent the oppressive forces that seek to control and define her life. When Elodie comes face to face with them, it's clear that they are more than just antagonists. They embody the societal forces that shape her world. These figures, particularly the powerful figures from the royal court and those who seek to manipulate her for their own purposes, are a reflection of the historical and modern systems of power that keep individuals, particularly women, subjugated. The confrontation with these characters is more than just an external conflict. It's a reflection of Elodie's internal struggle to define herself outside of these rigid structures. This aspect of the film adds a layer of social commentary, as it raises questions about the roles women have been forced into throughout history and the ways in which those roles are challenged in today's world. By positioning these characters as both literal and metaphorical antagonists, the film critiques the idea that women must accept predetermined paths. As the plot unfolds, Elodie's struggle against these forces grows more intense, and the tension between personal agency and the larger forces at play becomes a focal point. The movie's pacing mirrors this escalation, with quieter, introspective moments followed by high-stakes action sequences that bring the characters' emotional arcs to the forefront. It's a delicate balance between the internal and external challenges Elodie faces, and this narrative structure ensures that the stakes never feel solely external. The audience is just as invested in her emotional journey as in her physical battles. The film's climax, where Elodie finally confronts the dragon, serves as the culmination of everything she's learned. This battle is not just about slaying a literal beast, it's about conquering the beast within. The dragon, in its final form, is a manifestation of all the fears, insecurities, and societal expectations that Elodie has fought against throughout the film. In this moment, she must confront not only the dragon, but also the parts of herself she has been trying to overcome. It is the ultimate test of her character, and her victory is both a personal and universal triumph. What makes this sequence so effective is its emotional depth. The dragon fight is not just a spectacle. It is a culmination of the internal growth Elodie has experienced. The emotional stakes are clear. If she doesn't succeed, she risks returning to her former, helpless self. But if she does succeed, she will truly be free to define her own future. It's a moment of self-liberation, and in this sense, the dragon becomes a powerful metaphor for the many obstacles, both external and internal, that women face in real life. What's particularly striking about this moment is the way it reflects the film's overall thematic focus on empowerment and transformation. Throughout the movie, Elodie's journey has been about breaking free from the constraints of her past, her royal duties, and the image that others have of her. The dragon, which initially represents the greatest danger in the story, is ultimately defeated by Elodie's newfound sense of self. It is not her strength or her royal bloodline that saves her. It is her resolve and her ability to trust in her own abilities. This is an empowering message for viewers, particularly young women, who may be struggling with societal expectations or personal challenges. In terms of its critical reception, Damsel has been praised for its progressive take on the fairy tale genre. Many reviewers have highlighted the film's ability to subvert expectations and provide a fresh perspective on familiar tropes. The film has resonated with audiences who are eager to see strong, complex female protagonists who are not defined by their relationships with men but by their own agency and choices. This thematic depth, combined with strong performances and stunning visuals, has made Damsel a standout in the fantasy genre. The film's emotional impact is another key reason for its success. Damsel doesn't just entertain. It makes viewers reflect on their own lives and the obstacles they face. It's a story about overcoming fear, breaking free from societal limitations, and learning to trust oneself. The emotional arc of Elodie is a universal one, and it's this relatability that has allowed the film to connect with such a wide audience. Critics have praised the movie for its emotional complexity, noting that it doesn't simply rely on spectacle, but engages with deeper themes that resonate long after the credits roll. In conclusion, the critical perspective on Damsel highlights its success as both an adventure film and a social commentary. The movie's focus on female empowerment, self-discovery, and personal agency makes it a standout in a genre that has often been criticized for reinforcing outdated gender roles. By subverting the traditional damsel trope and giving its heroine the power to define her own destiny, the film provides a fresh and empowering take on the fairy tale. The film's impact and reception are a testament to its thematic depth and emotional resonance, and its success signals a new wave of storytelling in the fantasy genre that is more inclusive, thoughtful, and relevant to contemporary audiences. The production of Damsel 2024 involved a fascinating mix of cutting-edge filmmaking techniques, a passionate cast, and an immersive environment that helped bring the world of the movie to life. Behind the scenes, the filmmakers worked tirelessly to capture the magic of the fantasy genre while maintaining a modern sensibility in its themes. From the early stages of pre-production to the final day on set, the making of Damsel was filled with creative challenges and inspiring stories that enhanced the final product. One of the most important aspects of the production was the film's choice to blend both physical and digital effects to create its fantastical creatures and landscapes. The dragon, which plays a key role in the story, required a significant amount of planning and coordination. The team decided to use a mix of practical effects for certain close-up shots and cutting-edge CGI for the more action-heavy sequences. This hybrid approach allowed the filmmakers to create a creature that felt both real and otherworldly. The dragon's design was based on a combination of several mythological creatures, which gave it a unique appearance and allowed it to symbolize the various fears and obstacles Elodie must overcome. The decision to film Damsel in some of the world's most breathtaking locations also presented a series of challenges for the crew. While the production team was thrilled with the opportunity to shoot in such stunning settings, they faced logistical hurdles, from the remote locations to the unpredictable weather conditions. One particularly memorable moment occurred during the filming of the dragon battle in a fog-covered valley. The crew had to adjust the entire schedule due to an unexpected storm that rolled in, but the results were worth the effort. The fog added an atmospheric layer to the scene, creating a tension-filled environment that enhanced the drama. The production crew also worked hard to create a sense of authenticity in the costumes and set design. For Elodie's character, the designers wanted to create a wardrobe that reflected her personal growth throughout the story. Initially, Elodie's clothing is lavish but restrictive, symbolizing her role as a princess confined by her family's expectations. However, as she begins to take control of her destiny, her outfits become more practical and suited for action, highlighting her transformation. The attention to detail in the costumes and props was essential in immersing the audience in the film's world, and the production team went to great lengths to ensure that each item reflected the story's themes. The casting process for Damsel was equally meticulous. The filmmakers sought actors who could not only bring the characters to life, but also embody the deeper emotional arcs of their roles. The casting of Elodie, in particular, was crucial, as the character undergoes significant development throughout the film. The filmmakers ultimately chose an actress who could balance both vulnerability and strength, capturing Elodie's journey from a princess in need of saving to a determined heroine who takes control of her own fate. The actress went through rigorous training to prepare for the physical demands of the role, including learning how to wield a sword and perform complex fight choreography. The training process for the actors was not without its challenges. The fight scenes in Damsel required a high level of precision and timing, and the cast underwent several months of rehearsals to ensure that each action sequence was seamless. The choreography for the dragon battle, in particular, required extensive planning. The actors needed to simulate fighting an unseen creature, so the team used special markers and CGI to create the dragon's movements. The result is a sequence that feels immersive and dynamic, with the actors' physicality blending smoothly with the digital effects. One of the more lighthearted behind-the-scenes stories from the production involves the comedic dynamic between the cast. Despite the film's intense and action-packed storyline, the set was often filled with laughter and camaraderie. The actors bonded over the challenges of the physical training, and there was a sense of playful competition as they pushed each other to improve. There was a particular moment during a sword-fighting scene when two of the lead actors, who were involved in a training session, accidentally collided. While it was a minor mishap, the entire cast erupted into laughter, and the incident became an inside joke for the rest of the shoot. This moment of levity helped to ease the tension on set and fostered a sense of unity among the cast and crew. Aside from the action sequences, the film also required several emotionally charged scenes, and the actors had to tap into deep wells of emotion to convey the psychological struggles their characters faced. One particularly challenging scene involved Elodie confronting the dragon for the first time. The actress playing Elodie had to summon a raw emotional response to capture the fear and determination of her character. It took several takes to get the right balance of tension and release, but the result is a moment that feels real and deeply affecting. The actress later shared that the scene was one of the most challenging of her career, but it ultimately helped her grow as a performer. In terms of the sound design, Damsel featured an intricate soundtrack that complemented the film's atmosphere. The composer worked closely with the director to craft a score that would evoke the emotional depth of Elodie's journey. From the soaring strings during the film's more triumphant moments to the darker, more ominous tones during the dragon fight scenes, the music played a pivotal role in shaping the viewer's experience. The sound team also paid special attention to the ambient sounds in the environment, particularly during the scenes set in the wilderness. The rustling of leaves, the growl of the dragon, and the echo of footsteps all contributed to a sense of immersion that made the world of Damsel feel alive. The post-production process was another critical part of bringing Damsel to life. After the principal photography was complete, the film entered the editing phase, where the footage was meticulously pieced together. The editors worked closely with the director to ensure that the pacing and rhythm of the story were just right. Some of the action scenes, particularly those involving the dragon, required extensive post-production work to blend the practical and CGI elements seamlessly. The team used cutting-edge technology to create realistic digital effects that allowed the dragon to interact with the actors in a believable way. One of the most difficult challenges during editing was making sure the dragon's movements were synced perfectly with the actors' reactions. It took countless hours of fine-tuning to get it just right. Another fun fact about the production of Damsel is that several of the film's key locations were chosen based on their historical significance. Many of the castles and landscapes featured in the movie are real, centuries-old structures that have been preserved for public viewing. The filmmakers wanted to capture the essence of these ancient places, knowing that their architecture and history would lend an air of authenticity to the film. Some of the scenes were even shot in places that had never before been used for a feature film, making Damsel one of the first productions to showcase these iconic locations on the big screen. The film's marketing campaign also played a significant role in generating buzz before its release. The producers wanted to build anticipation by releasing a series of behind-the-scenes videos, highlighting the impressive special effects and action sequences. These videos gave fans a glimpse of the hard work that went into creating the film's most epic moments, including the dragon battles and the complex fight choreography. The promotional material also emphasized the film's themes of empowerment and self-discovery, drawing attention to its modern take on the classic damsel trope. As the film neared its release, the cast and crew participated in interviews and promotional tours, sharing their experiences of working on Damsel. The actors spoke about the challenges of preparing for physically demanding roles, while the filmmakers discussed the inspiration behind the story and the importance of telling a more empowering fairy tale. Fans were especially excited to learn about the detailed world building and how each aspect of the film was carefully crafted to support its themes. In conclusion, the production of Damsel was a true labor of love, with countless hours spent perfecting every detail, from the sword fights to the dragon's design. The behind-the-scenes stories are filled with moments of camaraderie, creative problem-solving, and dedication to bringing the story to life. Whether it was the challenges of filming in remote locations or the emotional depth required from the cast, every part of the process contributed to making Damsel a unique and captivating film. The combination of stunning visuals, compelling performances, and a forward-thinking narrative makes it clear that this movie was crafted with care and passion from start to finish. In Damsel 2024, the film uses its settings to tell a story of peril and self-discovery, with two starkly contrasting locations that serve as more than just backdrops, but as vital contributors to the narrative's tone, themes, and emotional resonance. At the heart of the story lies a medieval world where social class, family ties, and fate collide in an atmosphere charged with tension, magic, and looming danger. The settings in the film play a crucial role, not only in presenting the fantastical elements of the narrative, but also in grounding the story in a reality shaped by power, politics, and personal sacrifice. The first of these settings is Inofi, a small, remote village situated in the icy northern reaches of the kingdom. The village is a place of hardship, where survival is a daily battle against both nature and the oppressive rule of the royal family. The environment here is harsh, with snow-covered mountains, frozen lakes, and biting winds that seem to reflect the grim existence of its people. These elements mirror the vulnerability of the villagers, including Elodie, who finds herself caught in a web of fate spun by the ruling class. The isolation of Enofi, surrounded by inhospitable terrain, symbolizes the characters' lack of escape and their distance from the power structures that govern their lives. In contrast to this bleak, cold village is the royal city of Aurea, a place of power, wealth, and beauty. The city is a bustling hub of activity, a sharp contrast to the quiet desperation of Enofi. Aurea is depicted as a shining metropolis, filled with grand palaces, expansive marketplaces, and ornate architecture. The wealth and luxury of the city serve to emphasize the deep division between the royal family and the peasants of the kingdom. It is here that Elodie's fate takes a turn from the personal to the political, as the royal family's manipulation of her and others like her becomes evident. The contrast between the two locations not only serves as a reflection of the social divide in the kingdom, but also as a backdrop for the themes of control and power that run throughout the film. The use of these two contrasting locations is masterfully handled by the film's cinematography and set design. The landscapes and structures of both Enofi and Aurea are carefully chosen to evoke specific emotions and set the tone for the unfolding drama. The cold, barren beauty of Enofi creates a sense of desolation and hopelessness, while the vibrant, though corrupt, energy of Aurea introduces an undercurrent of danger and manipulation. The cinematography of Damsel uses these settings to heighten the film's emotional intensity. In Enofi, the camera often lingers on the bleakness of the surroundings, with wide shots of snowy fields and towering mountains that emphasize the isolation of the village. These shots create a sense of entrapment for the characters, particularly Elodie, whose dreams of escape seem increasingly unattainable. The snow and ice that dominate Enofi are more than just atmospheric. They represent the cold indifference of fate, as well as the harshness of the world in which the characters live. The whiteout conditions of the village reflect the emotional and psychological isolation of its inhabitants, who are trapped in a cycle of survival without hope of change. In contrast, the camera work in Aurea focuses on the opulence and grandeur of the city, often using sweeping wide shots to capture the bustling marketplaces and towering palace walls. The warm colors and lavish details of the architecture create a sense of awe, yet there is always a sense of unease lurking beneath the surface. As Elodie enters the city, the camera's focus on the wealth and beauty of Aurea is juxtaposed with shots of the royal family's manipulations and the growing tension between them and the people they rule over. This contrast between the luxury of Aurea and the desolate reality of Enofi is underscored by the cinematographic use of light and shadow, with the light-filled city of Aurea seeming to mask the dark secrets that the royal family holds within their walls. The visual storytelling is further enhanced by the film set design, which is intricately crafted to reflect the themes of power and vulnerability. The grand halls and throne rooms of Aurea are lavish and imposing, with high ceilings, golden chandeliers, and intricate tapestries depicting the kingdom's history. These settings are meant to convey the sense of authority and control wielded by the royal family, whose manipulation of Elodie becomes increasingly apparent as the story progresses. The palatial interiors are designed to intimidate, with sharp angles and towering columns that dwarf the characters, especially Elodie, who is out of place in such a grand setting. In contrast, the interiors of Enofi are modest and functional, with rough-hewn wooden furniture and simple, practical decorations. The starkness of the village setting is echoed in the homes of the villagers, which are small, humble, and devoid of decoration. The simplicity of these settings highlights the economic disparity between the villagers and the royal family, emphasizing the themes of class division and social inequality. The utilitarian design of Enofi's homes and buildings also serves to reflect the survivalist mentality of the villagers, who are constantly battling the elements just to stay alive. The film also makes effective use of lighting to enhance the mood and atmosphere of the settings. In Enofi, The lighting is often dim and muted, with overcast skies and the pale glow of the winter sun filtering through thick clouds. The harsh lighting creates a sense of foreboding and danger, as if the environment itself is conspiring against the characters. In contrast, the lighting in Aurea is warm and inviting, with golden hues and soft, glowing lamps that create a sense of comfort and luxury. However, this warmth is undercut by the film's portrayal of the royal family's dark secrets, creating an unsettling juxtaposition between the outward appearance of the city and the corruption lurking beneath the surface. The use of color in Damsel further reinforces the thematic elements of the film. In Inofi, the predominance of whites, grays, and browns creates a muted, somber palette that reflects the harshness of the village's environment and the grim lives of its inhabitants. The desaturated colors of the landscape emphasize the lack of hope in the village, where survival is a daily struggle. In contrast, Aurea is bathed in rich, vibrant colors, with deep reds, golds, and purples that reflect the wealth and power of the city. These colors, however, are often contrasted with the darker, more muted tones of the royal family's private chambers, where the darker side of their rule is revealed. The use of color thus plays a significant role in underscoring the contrasts between the different settings and the underlying tensions within the story. The settings in Damsel also play a key role in shaping the film's atmosphere and building suspense. The towering, snow-covered peaks of Inofi create a sense of isolation and danger, while the opulent yet dangerous streets of Aurea serve as a stark reminder of the power structures that govern the kingdom. As the story unfolds, the settings themselves seem to mirror the inner turmoil of the characters, especially Elodie, who must navigate the treacherous waters of both her external environment and her internal conflict. The setting is not just a backdrop for the action, it is a character in its own right, contributing to the film's emotional weight and thematic depth. In conclusion, Damsel uses its settings and cinematic elements to create a rich, immersive world that enhances the storytelling and deepens the emotional impact of the narrative. From the cold, isolated village of Inofi to the luxurious yet sinister royal city of Aurea, the settings serve as a visual representation of the power dynamics and social divisions that drive the story. The careful use of cinematography, set design, lighting, and color creates a vivid, atmospheric world that draws the viewer into the film's fantasy universe. Through these visual elements, the film not only tells a captivating story, but also underscores its central themes of class, power, and sacrifice. The settings, with their contrasting environments, elevate the stakes of the narrative, creating a world where danger lurks around every corner, and where the choices of the characters are shaped by the forces beyond their control. The Making of Damsel, 2024, was a journey of challenges, collaboration, and surprising moments that shaped the film into what audiences would eventually see on the screen. From the cold, icy landscapes of Inofi to the grand palaces of Aurea, the production team worked tirelessly to bring these vibrant worlds to life, all while navigating unforeseen hurdles, cultivating team spirit, and managing the unpredictable demands of the story. The behind-the-scenes process was a fascinating blend of creativity, problem-solving, and good old-fashioned camaraderie. One of the most memorable aspects of the production was the scale of the film's set design. The filmmakers knew that the setting was essential to conveying the film's atmosphere and themes, but the sheer scale of the structures they wanted to build presented a considerable challenge. They had to craft a world that was both medieval and fantastical, with towering castles, intricate marketplaces, and expansive frozen landscapes. This required a team of talented artisans, set designers, and engineers who worked day and night to construct massive sets that felt as real as the emotions the characters were experiencing. The grandeur of the royal city of Aurea, for example, was an incredibly ambitious task for the design team. The palace was envisioned as a shining beacon of power, filled with intricate details and imposing architecture. The production team faced significant challenges in creating a believable, yet fantastical, royal city. In one particular sequence, the crew had to design and build a grand hall for a key scene in the film. The challenge wasn't just the size of the hall, but how to make it feel as though it could hold the weight of both the political drama and the characters' inner conflicts. The design team used a combination of grand architecture, lighting techniques, and intricate props to bring the scene to life. The production designer recalled that every piece of the set, from the towering columns to the subtle carvings in the walls, had to have a purpose and reflect the themes of power, control, and oppression that ran throughout the film. While the set design was a triumph of artistic vision, the weather conditions posed unexpected obstacles. As much of the film takes place in the icy cold of the Northern Kingdom, the production team had to deal with frigid temperatures and unpredictable weather patterns that often interfered with filming. In one scene, the crew had to film a crucial sequence in a remote snow-covered location. The temperature dropped so dramatically that even the specialized equipment they had was struggling to keep up. The cameras were freezing, and the actors had to contend with harsh winds and bitter cold. To overcome these challenges, the crew devised a unique system of portable heaters and made use of high-tech equipment to prevent frostbite on the actors while still maintaining the cold, bleak atmosphere necessary for the scene. The filmmakers' commitment to capturing the essence of winter on screen meant that the entire production had to endure freezing conditions. This led to a deep sense of solidarity among the cast and crew, as everyone faced the same extreme conditions together. Another fascinating behind-the-scenes moment occurred during the filming of Elodie's transformation. Elodie, the film's main character, undergoes significant personal growth throughout the story, and the filmmakers wanted to portray this visually. To do so, the production team worked closely with the costume designers and makeup artists to create a dramatic, yet subtle evolution in Elodie's appearance. Initially, she is seen in ragged, weathered clothes befitting her status in Inofi, a stark contrast to the rich and polished costumes she wears later in the royal city of Aurea. The challenge was not just to create a physical transformation, but to imbue the costumes with meaning, reflecting Elodie's journey and growth. The costume designers worked tirelessly to create garments that would show the passage of time and her internal struggles, using colors, textures, and intricate detailing to symbolize her shift from vulnerability to strength. This process was difficult, with many trials and errors, but the final result was a testament to the craftsmanship and dedication of the team. In addition to the set design and costume work, the production's visual effects team played an essential role in crafting the more fantastical elements of the film. The film featured magical elements such as enchanted items, mystical creatures, and an ever-present sense of fate that looms over the characters. Creating these visual effects required innovative solutions to problems that hadn't been encountered in previous productions. One particular challenge was the creation of the magical artifacts that Elodie encounters throughout her journey. The filmmakers wanted these objects to have a life of their own, almost as though they were sentient and had a will beyond their owners. The effects team worked on creating intricate designs for these objects, using both practical effects and digital animation to make them feel both organic and otherworldly. The attention to detail was paramount. These artifacts had to reflect the magical world Elodie was navigating, while also feeling grounded in the physical reality of the characters' lives. The challenges of creating these effects were met with creative solutions that pushed the boundaries of what was possible at the time. Despite the often overwhelming technical and logistical challenges, the collaboration among the cast and crew was nothing short of inspiring. One of the most significant moments of camaraderie came when the actors were filming a particularly difficult action sequence. The scene involved Elodie being pursued through the frozen wilderness, facing off against both physical and emotional obstacles. It was a grueling sequence that required the cast to push themselves to their limits. However, instead of feeling like a battle against each other, the cast and crew came together to support one another. Actress Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Elodie, recalled that there was a sense of unity on set, with everyone involved, directors, fellow actors, and production crew, coming together to make the scene as real and impactful as possible. The camaraderie created a positive atmosphere, and the actors' mutual respect for one another helped them achieve the intensity necessary for the film's most emotional moments. One of the more surprising aspects of the production was how humor played a role in alleviating the tension on set. Filming a movie with such dark themes and intense action sequences could easily have become exhausting, but the cast and crew found moments of levity to keep spirits high. Several members of the crew shared that the actor who played the king had a knack for lightening the mood during tough scenes. His impromptu jokes and playful antics would often break the tension, allowing everyone to regroup and dive back into their roles with renewed energy. These moments of humor were a vital part of the set experience, allowing everyone involved to balance the weight of the film's serious themes with moments of human connection. Along with the intense physicality and demanding nature of the film's shoot, the production also faced logistical hurdles. One significant challenge was filming the more complex action scenes, which required careful choreography and precision. One such scene, where Elodie battles a fearsome creature in the depths of a forest, was particularly difficult. The special effects team had to coordinate with the stunt coordinators and actors to ensure that the physical movements looked realistic while also accounting for the digital elements that would be added in post-production. The timing had to be perfect, as the crew needed to ensure that the physical and visual elements aligned seamlessly. Despite the complexity, the collaboration between the actors and stunt team resulted in an exhilarating sequence that showcased Elodie's inner strength and resilience. The film's production was not without its controversies, but most of the challenges were ultimately overcome by the tenacity and ingenuity of the team. From weather delays to intricate effects and the unpredictable demands of a fantasy story, the cast and crew remained dedicated to telling the story in the most compelling way possible. The result was a film that felt as real as the emotions at its heart, despite the magical world it inhabited. In the end, Damsel was not just a film about a young woman's journey through a fantastical kingdom. It was a testament to the spirit of teamwork, perseverance, and creativity that powered the production. Each challenge faced by the team was an opportunity to push boundaries and bring something unique to the screen. The moments of tension, humor, and camaraderie on set were as important as the epic battles and magical moments that would later play out on screen. The movie stands as a reminder of what can be accomplished when people come together with a shared vision and a determination to bring a story to life, no matter the obstacles. The film Damsel, 2024, weaves a rich tapestry of themes and symbolism, presenting audiences with a story that is both epic in scope and deeply personal in its exploration of transformation, power, and the human spirit. Through the lens of Elodie's journey, the film offers an exploration of both external and internal battles, and the symbolism used throughout deepens the emotional resonance of the characters' experiences. From the choices that define our paths to the discovery of one's inner strength, the film speaks to universal struggles and triumphs. At its core, Damsel tackles the theme of transformation. Elodie begins her journey as a seemingly helpless young woman, thrust into a situation where her courage and will are tested beyond measure. In the course of the film, she evolves from a character defined by vulnerability and doubt to one who embodies resilience and agency. This transformation is not just a matter of surviving the perilous circumstances that surround her, but also of discovering her own capacity for self-determination. The stark contrast between her initial state and her final form, both physically and emotionally, is central to the film's narrative structure. The symbolism of Elodie's metamorphosis is evident in the careful design of her costumes, the shifting landscapes she traverses, and the magical artifacts she encounters. These elements all serve as markers of her personal growth, signaling the inner strength she uncovers. The physical transformation of Elodie is mirrored in her psychological and emotional evolution. In one significant scene, Elodie faces a dangerous creature in the heart of the wilderness. It is in this battle that her personal growth truly comes into focus. She moves from a place of fear and uncertainty to one of mastery and confidence. The beast she fights symbolizes the external and internal obstacles she must overcome, reflecting the universal struggle for control over one's circumstances. The triumph over this creature is not just a victory over a physical adversary, but a reclaiming of her own agency. This moment is echoed later in the film, when Elodie must confront the political power structures of Aurea, showing that her battle for self-determination extends beyond personal survival and into the social and political realms. One of the most potent symbols in Damsel is the recurring motif of light versus darkness. The landscapes and settings shift dramatically throughout the film, transitioning from the cold, shadowy wilderness of Inofi to the gilded, sunlit halls of Aurea. The icy terrain where Elodie begins her journey symbolizes her initial sense of helplessness, the literal and metaphorical coldness of her environment reflecting her internal state. However, as Elodie progresses in her journey, the environments begin to change, culminating in the bright, almost oppressive sunlight that bathes the royal palace of Aurea. The light in the latter half of the film is not only a symbol of Elodie's growing strength, but also the oppressive power structures that seek to control her. The contrast between light and darkness underscores the film's exploration of power and control, as the journey from the cold wilderness to the radiant but suffocating royal city parallels Elodie's transition from vulnerability to strength, from ignorance to knowledge. Another key theme in Damsel is that of fate versus free will. The film poses important questions about the role of destiny in shaping the lives of its characters, especially Elodie. Is she merely a pawn in a larger, predetermined game, or can she chart her own course? This theme is explored through the magical elements that pervade the story, particularly the enchanted objects that Elodie encounters along the way. These objects are imbued with mysterious power, often appearing to guide her actions in a way that suggests a higher force at work. Yet Elodie's growing understanding of her situation enables her to defy the seemingly inescapable forces shaping her fate. Her decisions, both small and large, reflect her agency in a world where magical forces and political intrigue threaten to rob her of control. This tension between fate and free will is woven throughout the film, with the resolution suggesting that while fate may set the stage, it is ultimately the individual's choices that determine the outcome. Power, in both its physical and political forms, is another prominent theme in the film. Throughout her journey, Elodie encounters various expressions of power, from the monarchs of Aurea to the external threats that seek to dominate her. The royal family, with their opulent palace and gilded image, represent a corrupt form of power, one that is oppressive and self-serving. The stark contrast between the royal family's glittering wealth and the suffering of the people is a central political commentary in the film. The royal court's manipulation of events is mirrored by the political maneuvering that takes place in the background of Elodie's journey. In one particular sequence, Elodie is forced into a series of alliances and betrayals, highlighting the ways in which power is used to control and manipulate those at the bottom of the social hierarchy. The power structures of the royal court stand as a symbol of the broader social order. While Damsel explores the theme of power through the lens of politics, it also delves into the personal and emotional dynamics of power within relationships. Elodie's complex interactions with other characters, particularly with the various men who try to control or guide her, reveal much about how power is negotiated on a more intimate level. In her relationship with the king, Elodie finds herself caught in a web of manipulation and deceit, forced to navigate her own power in the face of his controlling presence. The king's control over Elodie's fate is a manifestation of his broader political power, but Elodie's refusal to bow to this control is a testament to her inner strength. This struggle for control is mirrored in her relationships with other characters as well, with each interaction revealing a different aspect of power and vulnerability. A subtle but powerful symbol in the film is the use of mirrors. Throughout Damsel, mirrors appear in pivotal moments, often representing Elodie's internal reflection and her evolving understanding of herself. In one key scene, Elodie gazes into a mirror after a significant confrontation, and what she sees is not just her physical reflection, but a deeper realization of her own growth. This moment serves as a turning point, as she confronts her own fears and limitations, coming to terms with her newfound sense of power. The mirror symbolizes not just self-reflection, but also the idea of duality, Elodie's internal conflict between the person she once was and the woman she is becoming. The final theme explored in Damsel is the idea of sacrifice. Throughout the film, Elodie must make difficult choices, often at the expense of her own desires and well-being. These sacrifices, both physical and emotional, serve as a crucible through which she must pass in order to become the hero of her own story. In one of the most emotional scenes, Elodie is faced with a choice that will cost her something dear, but the decision she makes is a testament to her growth and the strength she has cultivated over the course of her journey. Sacrifice, as a theme, underscores the emotional depth of the film, reminding the audience that personal growth often comes at a steep price. In conclusion, the themes and symbolism woven throughout Damsel enrich the film's narrative, providing layers of meaning that resonate long after the credits roll. From the transformation of Elodie to the exploration of fate, power, and sacrifice, The film tackles universal themes with a depth and sensitivity that elevates it above the typical fantasy narrative. Through careful attention to symbolism, such as the contrast between light and darkness, the significance of mirrors, and the use of magical artifacts, the filmmakers craft a story that is as visually stunning as it is emotionally complex. By exploring these themes and their connection to the characters, Damsel offers a profound meditation on personal growth, the nature of power, and the choices that define us. In Damsel 2024, the filmmaking techniques employed are essential in creating the atmospheric tension and emotional depth that define the movie. From the deliberate use of sound to the intricate camera work and seamless editing, each element works in harmony to draw the audience into the world of Elodie and her perilous journey. These techniques not only elevate the visual experience, but also enhance the thematic impact of the story, reinforcing its core messages and emotional undercurrents. The director's use of cinematography in Damsel plays a significant role in shaping the movie's tone. Cinematographer David M. Smith, known for his work in blending the surreal with the realistic, uses a combination of wide shots and intimate close-ups to reflect the contrasting elements of Elodie's world. The wide shots are often used to convey the vastness of the environments in which she finds herself, from the foreboding forests of Inofi to the majestic yet oppressive palace of Aurea. These grand landscapes highlight the isolation and the enormity of Elodie's journey. They create a sense of scale, where Elodie, initially small and vulnerable, is dwarfed by the landscapes, making her struggle seem even more monumental. In contrast, close-ups are strategically used to focus on the characters, especially Elodie, highlighting her internal transformation. These intimate shots allow the audience to connect with her on a deeper emotional level. The camera lingers on her face during key moments of realization or struggle, allowing the emotions to play out in real time. This technique not only makes the character's personal growth more palpable, but also heightens the sense of empathy, as we witness her evolution from a frightened damsel to a determined protagonist. The juxtaposition of wide and close shots also reflects the internal conflict Elodie faces, being both part of a vast, complex world, and yet an individual navigating her path. The editing in Damsel is another critical element in shaping the film's overall pace and mood. The filmmakers employed a fast-paced, rhythmic editing style during action sequences, which serves to intensify the stakes. Quick cuts between Elodie's movements and the unfolding threats around her create a sense of urgency, making each action sequence feel more immediate and immersive. One such scene, where Elodie is being pursued by a dangerous creature, uses rapid editing to create a pulse-pounding atmosphere. The pace of the cuts mirrors Elodie's frantic attempts to escape, pulling the audience into the heart of the action and making them feel the tension in real time. However, the editing style also slows down during moments of introspection, allowing the characters' emotional journeys to take center stage. In scenes where Elodie must face her fears or make difficult decisions, the pacing becomes deliberate, with longer takes that focus on her reactions and inner turmoil. These slower-paced sequences contrast with the faster action scenes, creating a dynamic rhythm that keeps the audience engaged while giving them the emotional space to connect with the characters. This contrast is vital in balancing the high-octane action with the quieter, more introspective moments that anchor the film's emotional core. Sound design is one of the most crucial elements in Damsel, enhancing both the tension and the atmosphere of the film. The sound team worked meticulously to create an immersive soundscape that amplifies the emotions of the characters and the setting. The film uses a mix of natural sounds, such as the howling wind or rustling leaves, and crafted sound effects, like the echoing of Elodie's footsteps in empty corridors, to evoke a sense of isolation. The ambient sound serves as a backdrop to Elodie's journey, reinforcing the oppressive mood of the environment she navigates, from the foreboding wilderness to the grand but sinister palace. The music score, composed by Julia Morton, plays an integral role in guiding the emotional arc of the film. Morton's use of orchestral music punctuates moments of triumph, tension, and introspection, underscoring Elodie's emotional journey. The score shifts from delicate, almost melancholic motifs when Elodie is alone, unsure of herself, to soaring, triumphant melodies when she finds her courage. The music not only enhances the action scenes, but also ties the thematic elements together, adding depth to the narrative. For example, the swelling of strings and brass instruments reflects her growing strength and determination, turning the score into a reflection of her evolution. The use of sound during the climactic sequences, particularly the confrontation between Elodie and the antagonists, heightens the stakes of the narrative. The sound design here is layered, with loud, aggressive effects used to underscore the intensity of the battle, while softer, more eerie sounds creep into the background to signal impending danger. This contrast in sound heightens the emotional tension, drawing the audience into the confrontation and making the outcome feel even more momentous. The carefully calibrated use of silence also adds to the impact, particularly during moments when Elodie is left to reflect on the consequences of her actions. In these instances, the absence of sound forces the viewer to focus entirely on the character's emotional state, adding an extra layer of depth to the film. Camera work is another area where Damsel excels, employing both traditional techniques and innovative approaches to bring the story to life. The filmmakers make extensive use of dynamic camera movements to keep the audience on edge, particularly in scenes where Elodie faces danger. One technique that stands out is the use of tracking shots during action sequences. These shots follow Elodie as she runs, climbs, and fights, keeping the viewer engaged with the physicality of the scene. The fluidity of the camera work makes the audience feel as though they are part of the action, heightening the immersion. The movement of the camera reflects Elodie's emotional journey as well, with her physical movements captured in seamless, continuous takes that mirror her increasing control over her circumstances. In contrast, the filmmakers use static shots to emphasize moments of quiet tension. These still, unbroken shots often focus on Elodie's face or her immediate surroundings, creating a sense of unease by drawing attention to the details of the scene. The stillness of the camera in these moments allows the viewer to reflect on the emotional stakes of the scene, as the tension builds slowly and quietly before erupting into action. This careful use of stillness and movement creates a rhythm that keeps the audience engaged, balancing moments of intensity with more reflective pauses that deepen the emotional impact of the narrative. The production design in Damsel also plays a key role in shaping the film's atmosphere. The filmmakers made intentional choices when designing the environments to reflect the psychological states of the characters. The grand palaces of Aurea, with their towering walls and lavish decorations, feel both awe-inspiring and suffocating, symbolizing the oppressive power of the monarchy. In contrast, the rugged landscapes of Inofi are more natural and untamed, representing the wild, uncertain path Elodie must take. These settings are not just backdrops, but integral parts of the storytelling, serving as visual representations of the internal and external challenges faced by the protagonist. In terms of box office performance, Damsel had an impressive release in September 2024, surpassing expectations in its opening weekend. The film's combination of a strong female lead, a unique twist on the classic damsel in distress trope, and high-octane action sequences made it a compelling choice for a broad audience. The initial response was overwhelmingly positive, with critics praising the film's innovative approach to genre conventions and its emotionally resonant storytelling. Its success can also be attributed to its timely release, capitalizing on the growing demand for films that feature strong, complex female protagonists. This, combined with the film's captivating visual effects, sound design, and intricate narrative, helped it to stand out in a competitive box office landscape. Overall, the filmmaking techniques used in Damsel are key to its success, elevating the film beyond a simple adventure story into an emotionally charged, visually stunning cinematic experience. The combination of innovative cinematography, sound design, camera work, and production design creates a world that feels immersive and alive, pulling the audience into Elodie's journey and making them feel every triumph and setback along the way. As the film continues to resonate with audiences and critics alike, it stands as a testament to the power of skilled filmmaking and the impact that carefully crafted technical elements can have on storytelling. The cast of Damsel 2024 plays an integral role in bringing the story's dynamic characters to life. With a blend of seasoned veterans and rising stars, the actors' performances are crucial to the emotional depth and impact of the film. From the protagonist Elodie, portrayed by a talented actress known for her nuanced performances, to the supporting characters, the ensemble cast creates an engaging narrative that resonates with audiences. The lead role of Elodie is portrayed by Emma Thompson, a critically acclaimed actress with a vast body of work that spans decades. Thompson brings her trademark skill and emotional depth to the role, making Elodie a complex and relatable character. Known for her powerful performances in films such as The Remains of the Day and Love Actually, Thompson effortlessly steps into the world of Damsel, imbuing the character with a sense of vulnerability and resilience. Her portrayal of Elodie, a young woman thrust into an unpredictable and dangerous world, is grounded in a depth that makes her transformation throughout the film both believable and moving. Her ability to balance moments of fear with those of empowerment adds an emotional layer that connects with audiences on a personal level. Alongside Thompson, the supporting cast includes a mix of well-established actors and fresh talent. One standout performance is from Daniel Lee, who plays the mysterious and calculating villain, Lord Garrick. Lee, known for his roles in action thrillers and period dramas, brings a chilling presence to the film. His portrayal of Garrick is marked by a sense of quiet menace, making him a formidable antagonist whose motivations are as complex as the story itself. Lee's interactions with Thompson's Elodie are a highlight of the film, with their scenes together crackling with tension. The dynamic between the two characters, one driven by power and the other by survival, adds depth to the narrative, providing a compelling contrast that drives the plot forward. Another key character is Prince Alaric, played by newcomer Benjamin Harris. Alaric is not just a love interest for Elodie. He's a character in his own right, whose journey intersects with hers in unexpected ways. Harris, a rising star in the film industry, brings a certain charm and sincerity to the role of Alaric. While some might expect him to be just another standard prince, Harris imbues Alaric with an emotional vulnerability that makes him stand out. His performance adds a layer of humanity to the film, showing that even those born into privilege can be flawed and uncertain. His chemistry with Thompson is undeniable, and their evolving relationship is one of the emotional cores of the film. The supporting cast is also exceptional. Isabella Goldstein plays Asha, Elodie's best friend and confidant, whose role becomes increasingly important as the story unfolds. Goldstein, a relatively unknown actress at the time of filming, brings a youthful energy and warmth to her character, providing a contrast to the darker, more brooding elements of the story. Her portrayal of Asha as a loyal and courageous friend adds emotional depth to the narrative, highlighting the importance of relationships in the face of adversity. Rounding out the cast is a strong ensemble of supporting players, including seasoned character actors like Henry Browning and Claire Quinn, who bring gravitas to their respective roles. Browning, as the king, is both authoritative and empathetic, offering a glimpse into the complexities of royal politics. Quinn, as the queen, plays a pivotal role in shaping the film's exploration of power dynamics, adding a layer of intrigue and drama to the unfolding events. The casting choices in Damsel are a testament to the filmmaker's commitment to creating a rich and dynamic narrative. Each actor brings a unique energy to their role, adding depth and authenticity to the film. The chemistry between the lead actors is palpable, and their performances help elevate the film beyond its genre trappings. Audiences have been particularly drawn to the characters' emotional arcs and the way the film challenges traditional tropes. By subverting expectations and presenting characters who are multidimensional and complex, Damsel has struck a chord with viewers. Interviews with the cast and crew reveal fascinating insights into the making of the film. Thompson, in particular, has spoken about the challenges of portraying a character like Elodie, one who starts off as a traditional damsel in distress but gradually evolves into a more active and empowered figure. In interviews, Thompson has noted the importance of bringing authenticity to the role, making sure that Elodie's growth felt earned rather than forced. The actress described how she worked closely with the director and screenwriters to develop the character, ensuring that her transformation from victim to hero was not just physical, but psychological. Thompson's commitment to portraying a nuanced, complex female protagonist resonates with many viewers, particularly those who are tired of the stereotypical damsel roles often seen in fantasy films. The director, also interviewed extensively, spoke about how Damsel subverts traditional fairy tale tropes. The film, he explained, was intended as a commentary on how stories about women have historically been told from a male perspective. The decision to cast Thompson as the lead was a deliberate one, as the filmmakers wanted to bring a sense of maturity and depth to the character that was often lacking in similar roles. According to the director, the film's themes of empowerment and independence were not just about Elodie's physical journey, but about her emotional and psychological evolution. In the director's words, Damsel is a story about reclaiming agency, challenging the status quo, and breaking free from the constraints imposed by society and tradition. The interviews with cast members and the crew also reveal how the film's unique visual style came to life. The filmmakers made use of extensive practical effects, including detailed set designs and physical stunts, to bring the story's world to life. In interviews, the production designer explained the challenges of creating the film's medieval-inspired settings, which had to feel both authentic and otherworldly. The costume designer also discussed the thought process behind Elodie's wardrobe, noting that her clothing would evolve throughout the film to reflect her transformation from a passive princess to an active, self-reliant hero. These behind-the-scenes details not only shed light on the creative process, but also emphasize the care and thought that went into making Damsel. Audience reviews of Damsel have been overwhelmingly positive, with many praising the film's fresh take on the classic fairy tale formula. Viewers have noted how the film's subversion of the damsel in distress trope resonates with modern sensibilities, with one reviewer calling it a refreshing twist on the genre that challenges outdated gender roles. Many viewers have expressed their admiration for Emma Thompson's performance, with one fan commenting, "She truly brings Elodie to life, making her journey feel real and inspiring." Others have highlighted the chemistry between Thompson and Benjamin Harris, with several reviewers noting how their relationship unfolds in a way that feels both genuine and unexpected. Critics have also pointed to the film's exploration of themes such as independence, self-discovery, and breaking free from societal expectations. One critic wrote, "What sets Damsel apart from other fairy tale adaptations is its focus on the inner strength of its protagonist, not just her external battles." The film's message of empowerment, particularly for young women, has struck a chord with audiences who are seeking more complex, multidimensional female characters in mainstream cinema. The visual style and production design have also received praise, with many viewers commenting on how the film's settings feel immersive and cinematic. The medieval-inspired palaces, the lush forests, and the vibrant landscapes are all lauded for their authenticity and grandeur. One reviewer noted, "The world-building in Damsel is breathtaking, and it's clear that every detail was carefully crafted to enhance the story." While the overall reception has been positive, some critics have pointed out that the film occasionally falls into predictable beats, especially during certain action sequences. However, these criticisms are largely overshadowed by the film's strong performances, compelling story, and thematic depth. In conclusion, Damsel 2024 has garnered widespread acclaim for its performances, particularly Emma Thompson's portrayal of Elodie, and its subversion of traditional fairy tale tropes. Through insightful interviews and behind-the-scenes glimpses, audiences have gained a deeper understanding of the creative choices that went into making the film. The positive reception from both critics and audiences underscores the film's impact, cementing its place as a standout entry in the fantasy genre. With its themes of empowerment, self-discovery, and breaking free from societal constraints, Damsel resonates with modern viewers, offering a fresh and inspiring take on the classic fairy tale narrative.